Imagine you're in a steamy bathroom. Okay, razor in hand, and you hear this music, Los Tigres del Norte singing a corrido about like smuggling and double-crossing, the scent of soap, warm water,
Yeah.
just this moment of calm, and then bam, the phone rings.
That jarring sound.
Yeah, that piercing sound. And you just know, you absolutely know you're going to die.
That gut feeling.
That is the raw, terrifying start of Teresa Mendoza's story. And that's what we're diving in today. We're going to explore how this young woman in Culiacan, Mexico, goes from, well, that terrified girlfriend
To basically a legend, a queen pin in the ruthless world of drug trafficking.
It's quite the journey.
It really is a remarkable journey. And our mission today, it's really to go beyond just the plot points, We're piecing together fragments from, well, a compelling novel, police reports, lots of interviews,
Right.
associates, journalists, law enforcement folks. We want to understand not just what happened, but how she did it, how she navigated these impossible odds, adapted, and, fundamentally reshaped her own life.
It's resilience, sure, but
Oh, it's more than that. It's strategic cunning, it's the psychology of survival, and how power can kind of emerge from pure vulnerability.
often you get just one side of the story, right?
Exactly.
This isn't just one person's account. It's, like you said, a tapestry. Woven from all these threads, sometimes they even contradict each other.
Which makes it fascinating.
Totally. But it gives you, the listener, a really rich, multidimensional picture. So let's set the scene. We're starting in Sinaloa, Mexico, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
The day everything changed for Teresa Mendoza.
Yeah, that day.
That opening scene, it's just so visceral. Teresa in her bathtub, Colonia Las Quintas, Culiacan, shaving her leg. And that song playing, Camila Tejana, it's almost like foreshadowing, right? Lyrics about smuggling, betrayal.
Absolutely. The music isn't just background noise there. For Teresa, these corridos, these stories and songs about outlaws, they weren't just entertainment. They were like grim prophecies. And in that instant, with the phone call, that prophecy becomes her reality. It's a world where music sometimes tells the future.
And the call itself. The caller uses Guero Davla's exact words, the code he'd set up.
If they clean my clock, call and tell her to run. Chillin'.
Hearing those exact words from a stranger, it confirmed everything. She drops the razor, goosebumps, makes her way soaking wet to that small black phone.
That sinister little phone.
What does Guero's foresight tell us about their world? Even planning for his death like that.
It plugs you right into the brutal logic of the narco world. Life's cheap, yeah, we know that. But information, that's currency. And foresight, well, it's a kind of grim legacy planning. Guero knew his number was probably up. His preparation, that warning, it just speaks volumes about the constant threat, the calculated risks. He died, but his last act was trying to give Teresa that sliver of a chance.
Her reaction was just pure terror. The sources describe her shivering, cold, and fear. And then as she's escaping, she actually throws up this slimy thread of nopal, a cactus paddle.
Such a specific, visceral detail. It shows that raw, physical manifestation of terror. Her world just completely shattered.
And her plan, get to the safe house. Guero told her about it.
Right. Don't even open it, Pritata. Trade it to Don Epifanio Vargas for your hide. That was his instruction for the notebook inside.
So she gets there, finds this notebook full of phone numbers, contacts, secret runways all over Mexico, Central America.
The keys to his kingdom, basically.
Plus, what, $20,000 in cash?
Yep, hundreds. And a stash of white powder, probably cocaine, and this huge Colt double eagle pistol, mother of pearl handles.
Wow. So this safe house isn't just a hideout.
No, it's a dead man's testament. The notebook, the cash, the drugs, the gun, they're symbols of his life, his trade, his fatal foresight. They're thrust upon her. Adapt or die, it's her inheritance, and it's a deadly one.
And Guero himself, how did he actually die? It was brutal, right?
Incredibly brutal. He was ambushed at this notorious spot in the mountains, El Espinazo del Diablo, the devil's backbone.
Ominous name.
Very. He was trying to take off in his Cessna, a small plane, the kind they use for clandestine flights.
Right.
And it just got riddled with bullets. AR-15s, AK-47s. His jaw was smashed. Then they set the plane on fire.
Horrific. And they know who did it.
Yeah, a guy named Cesar Batman Gams orchestrated it. This wasn't random. It was a carefully laid trap. Shows you the efficiency, the ruthlessness of these organizations.
And Guero's philosophy.
Oh, yeah. 5 years on your feet is better than 50 on your knees.
Wow.
It perfectly captures that high-stakes, short-lived nature of the path he chose. Burn bright, burn fast. It was always going to end in fire for him, probably.
A chilling way to live. So Teresa's world is gone. Her life's on the line. She's alone, desperate. Her only move, like Guerrero said, is contact Don Epifanio Vargas, his godfather. They meet in the Malverde Chapel. Tell us about Vargas and why meet there.
Okay, Vargas. He's a fascinating character, really complex. Powerful, smart, used to run with Amado Carrillo, the Lord of the Skies, back in the day.
A big name.
Huge. But now Vargas is shifting, moving into politics, trying to legitimize his power, you see. He's got the money, the influence, but also this deep loyalty streak and a kind of campesino shrewdness, Sinaloan roots. Dangerous mix.
In the chapel, Malverde.
Jesus Malverde, the narco saint. He's revered by people living outside the law, a protector, a patron saint of the marginalized, you could say.
Yeah.
Meeting there, it's deeply symbolic. It's like invoking a certain underworld code. Even among outlaws, there are these connections.
Vargas, despite his political ambitions, he feels this tie to Guerrero and to Teresa.
Seems so. Loyalty runs deep. He offers her help, escape to Spain, gives her a name, a number, but warns her, starkly, you get led by the rope or it hangs you. Basically, you're on your own now.
And that's how she ends up documented as Teresa Mendoza Chavez, arriving in Madrid. Starts her new life in Melilla, working in a bar, the Yamila. What's that initial shift like for her?
It's a total change of scenery, obviously. Melilla, a Spanish city, but on the Moroccan coast. A real melting pot, European, North African cultures. An unlikely sanctuary.
It's still dangerous.
Different dangers, maybe. It's a port city, lots of trade, some of it not exactly legal. So familiar undercurrents, But it's the stark contrast to Culiacan, and she is utterly alone. That vulnerability is immense.
But then this hidden talent emerges. She only finished 6th grade, right?
Yeah, basic education.
Yet she has this incredible knack for numbers. Becomes the cashier at the bar, spots an error in the books in like 15 seconds. Her boss is stunned.
This is such a pivotal moment. It's a revelation, really. She's not just scraping by, she starts to thrive. Not through violence, but through this quiet skill.
Where did that come from?
Well, the sources suggest her time as a money changer back on Cayo Juarez in Culiacan honed that skill. It becomes her unexpected entry point into a new kind of power structure. Proof that sometimes the talents you dismiss can become your lifeline.
And it's in Melilla she meets Santiago Fistera, El Gallego.
Right. The Galician smuggler. Pilots speedboats, runs tobacco, hashish across the Strait of Gibraltar.
He sounds like quite a character. Dark-skinned, this tattoo.
Yeah, a crucified Christ mixed with sailing symbols on his forearm. His world was pure adrenaline, constant high-speed chases, dodging customs, the Guardia Civil...
Spanish Civil Guard.
Exactly. They police the waters. There was this incident mentioned. His co-pilot, Lalo Vega, caused a customs boat to crash. Someone died.
So... serious stuff, not just small-time smuggling.
Oh, no. High-stakes games on the open sea. Powerful boats, helicopters like the BO-105 involved in pursuits. It's dangerous work. And Teresa, with her numbers skill, starts helping Santiago with his accounts. Adds efficiency to his risky business.
And they got together.
Intensely. A passionate relationship, but definitely a clash of worlds or maybe philosophies. Santiago was very fatalistic.
How so?
He told her something like, half of us Galicians don't know how to swim. We sink, we die with resignation.
Wow, that's bleak.
It's profound, though, isn't it? That psychology of living on the edge, it's almost a coping mechanism. Accept the danger, live intensely, because maybe you think your fate's already sealed. It contrasts sharply with Teresa's fierce will to survive. He accepts fate. She defies it.
And tragically, that fatalism proved true for him.
Yeah. Another turning point for Teresa, Santiago's death. His speedboat, doing maybe 50 knots, crashes into a rock during a chase. A customs helicopter, a BO-105, was pursuing him.
And Teresa.
She was thrown clear, survived but with a broken arm, another sudden violent loss.
Like Guerrero.
Exactly. But for Teresa, it's again this catalyst. Painful, but it pushes her forward. And that irony. She's rescued by the helicopter pilot, a customs officer she'd actually seen before.
Talk about complicated.
Plucked from the sea of one life, thrown right into the fire of another.
And that fire was El Puerto de Santa Maria prison.
Harsh place. Regimented. But crucially, it's where she meets Patricia O'Farrell.
Lieutenant O'Farrell.
Right. Privileged background, but tough. Also inside for narco stuff. And Patty sees something in Teresa. Her potential.
What was prison like for Teresa?
A brutal education, really. She learned the hierarchies, the unspoken rules. Surprisingly, the source notes she almost felt a weird homesickness for its structure later. It hardened her, forced her to rely purely on her wits.
And Patty. How did they connect?
Patty, despite her own issues, is sharp. She recognizes Teresa's quiet strength, her intelligence, Sees a survivor, someone who can navigate the system. She becomes this unlikely ally, almost a mentor in that harsh environment.
And Patty had his secret, a big one.
Oh, yeah. Patty's treasure. Half a ton of cocaine, hidden in a cave, left by a boyfriend who got murdered. He was tangled up with the Russian mafia.
Half a ton. Wow. And the authorities didn't find it.
Nope. Patty kept a secret despite intense questioning. It was her leverage, her ace in the hole.
And for Teresa.
This is the aha moment. Patty's secret becomes Teresa's opportunity. It's not just a stash. It's startup capital for an empire, if handled right. It pivots her future from just surviving to potentially dominating. The queen starts here.
So Teresa uses this, negotiates with Oleg Yasikov, the Russian mafia boss.
Exactly. She's incredibly shrewd, leverages Patty's coke, combines it with her own understanding of logistics, proposes a partnership. She becomes their fixer for getting Moroccan hashish reliably.
They were impressed.
Hugely. By her head for numbers, her incredible common sense, as the source puts it, she's not just a runner anymore, she's a strategist.
Right.
She lays out this vision for a diversified, reliable supply chain, exactly what the Russians needed. She moves from operational stuff to, like, the executive level. It's a bold pitch, and it works. Secures her place at the table.
And this leads to Transrnaga, her organization.
Yeah, it grows fast. She brings in key people. Dr. Ramos for logistics, port security, Fried Latakia for procurement, getting hold of cricky stuff, and Teo Algeralfi,
The financial guy.
her financial advisor, handles the money laundering. Shell corporations, moving cash through secure channels, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, Switzerland. It's sophisticated.
She wasn't just moving drugs, she was building a corporation around it, almost legitimate looking.
That's the crucial part. Her proactive approach to legal and political protection. She got that true power isn't just moving product. It's making yourself untouchable.
How did she do that?
Her public relations strategy, you could call it, paying off politicians, police, even strategically letting small shipments get busted.
Really? Why?
As overhead. It maintains this facade of vulnerability, keeps the bigger operation safer, creates this environment where she seems almost invulnerable. That's the Queen of the South, the press eventually names her. Operating with this, like, regal level of control and foresight.
But expanding into cocaine must have ruffled feathers. The established Galician cartels.
Oh, absolutely. Big time. She has this tense meeting with Ciso Pernes, one of the old-school Galician bosses.
And she confronts him.
Directly. Asserts her dominance. Tells him straight up, I'm the one who makes the decisions about my affair, so don't fuck with me.
Wow. That takes guts. How did she manage that?
Pure power play. She's a Mexican woman, an outsider. But she uses her financial muscle, her sheer willpower. She basically tells them she has so much money she could start a war if she wanted to.
She threatened them.
She laid it out. Money buys control, loyalty, the power to dictate terms. She wasn't asking permission, she was taking charge. And it worked. She became feared, not just respected.
So the empire's growing, but then comes a huge personal complication.
Right. Teresa discovers she's pregnant.
And the father.
Teo Algeralfi, her financial advisor.
Oof. That must have changed things dramatically. For someone so focused on control, invulnerability.
It changes everything. Yasikov, the Russian, points it out shrewdly. A child makes you vulnerable, makes it impossible to just leave everything and walk away. It anchors her.
Did she want the child?
The sources are complex. There's a line about her not liking the parasitic fucking tiny life that's inside me. It shows the internal conflict, the burden. It forces her to face a future that's suddenly not just her own anymore.
And this vulnerability, or maybe her ruthlessness despite it, feeds into this big operation, Tender Childhood.
Yeah, a massive decoy operation, moving 20 tons of hashish. Her plan was brilliant, classic misdirection.
How'd it work?
Used an old fishing boat, the Tarfaya, as a very visible decoy. Made everyone think that was the main shipment. Meanwhile, the real cargo was moving on smaller, faster boats, rubbers, inflatable boats.
Masterful.
And ruthless. She even used Teo, the father of her child, as an unwitting part of the disinformation. Fed him false info so even he believed the decoy was real.
Told.
Totally. Prioritizes the mission, her survival, above personal ties. Shows how deeply she'd internalized the brutal logic of her world.
And then she does something even riskier. She insists on being on the decoy boat, the Tarfaya.
Armed. Yeah, against advice. She's got a Beretta. Her internal monologue is revealing, I don't need to be here, yet here I am, risking my life. Playing this strange game that I can't even once avoid or delegate.
What's that about? Control? Or something else?
It feels like more than just control. It's a test of herself, maybe, confronting her own fear, the inevitable course of things, as she puts it. It highlights the immense weight of her position. She's the queen, but also kind of a prisoner of the empire she built, always having to prove herself, even to herself.
Just when you think you've got a handle on her journey, this bombshell drops.
The DEA agent, Willie Rangel.
Right. He revealed that Guru Davila,
her first love, the man whose death started it all,
was a DEA informant.
Yeah. Killed because his identity got leaked by a U.S. customs agent in El Paso for $80,000.
That's devastating. How does that hit Teresa? And us understanding her story.
It's a massive gut punch. Suddenly, her foundational trauma wasn't just narco-violence, it was betrayal. By Guerrero himself and by the system supposedly fighting the drug trade, it casts this incredibly dark, cynical shadow over everything. She wasn't just fleeing violence, she was fleeing into an even deeper maze of deceit.
But then comes the twist on the twist.
The ultimate reveal.
Teresa already knew.
Mind-blowing, right? She found out from Guerrero's notebook that very first day in Culiacan, 12 years ago, just before the hitmen arrived.
So her meeting with Vargas in the chapel, pretending ignorance, trading the notebook.
That was all a calculated gamble, a crazy game, she called it. And it saved her life.
This changes everything about how you see her.
Absolutely. She goes from maybe a lucky survivor to this masterful manipulator, utterly self-aware, operating with that devastating secret, turning that profound betrayal into the very tool of her survival and rise. It's chilling. It wasn't just resilient. It was cold, strategic calculation under unimaginable pressure.
Which completely reframes her return to Culiacan later. It wasn't just coming home.
No, it was a campaign against Epifanio Vargas, meticulously planned.
How did she pull that off?
Used her influence, her connections, even leveraged the Mexican government. Arrives in this convoy, armored vehicles, soldiers, machine guns. Sets up a showdown with Vargas right back in the Malverde chapel.
It's not just revenge then.
It's more like personal payback staged as a public spectacle, settling old scores, but in a way that doesn't compromise her bigger business. It shows her evolution into a true power player, using the state itself to execute a personal vendetta, demonstrating the ultimate reach of her power right where it all began.
But even then, in Culiacan, there's more danger. Yeah. Another betrayal, another ambush.
Yeah, at a safe house. It's implied Teo, the father of her child, betrayed her this time.
Does she get caught?
No. Pote Galvez, Guerrero's old associate, now her fiercely loyal bodyguard, is there. And Teresa. She grabs an AK-47 and fights. Uses the chaos to escape the Federales, the Mexican police.
Almost full circle.
In a way. Starts fleeing an ambush. Ends this chapter fighting her way out of one. But the difference is who she is now. Not the terrified girlfriend. She's the queen. She fights. She escapes, using her wits, using loyalty like Pote's. It shows just how completely she transformed. She navigates the chaos now, not as a victim, but as a force.
So from that terrified woman in the bathroom in Culiacan to the powerful Queen of the South running this sophisticated international drug empire, Teresa Mendoza's story is just incredible. Relentless adaptation, mastering her own destiny.
What's so fascinating is how she keeps evolving. Internalizing lessons, turning weaknesses into strengths. Her story, yeah, it's about crime, but it's also about something deeply human. The drive to survive, to control, to build something, even something illicit from absolutely nothing. She really embodies that phrase mentioned in the source, the only salvation of the conquered is to expect no salvation. Finding power in utter desperation.
And through it all, she has this deep internal life, this struggle. She loves books, sees herself in characters from Pedro Páramo, the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, those classic tales of ghosts, revenge, transformation.
She reflects on the many strangers she's become over the years, how Guerrero and Santiago kind of merge in her memory, and her decision ultimately not to go back to Mexico. She sees all these different women her journey forced her to be, each step making her someone new, almost unrecognizable.
Teresa Mendoza chose her path, yes, but out of necessity, not really desire. Yet she became so much more than just a victim of circumstance. Her story makes us think, doesn't it, about choice, fate, power. What does her journey tell you about the real cost of survival, about the nature of power, especially when it's born from violence? And maybe whether we ever truly escape our past or if it just becomes part of the legend we end up creating.
That's another deep dive into the pages of a truly compelling life. We hope you found some surprising insights and maybe some new perspectives in this incredible story.